What up? It's Talkin Tuesday on Cleveland. I don't know what that intro was, but let's go. What's up, dudes and dudettes? Again, it's Talkin Cleveland Tuesday. Super excited about this one because a good friend of mine that I've known for well beyond the social media days, who has made quite a name for himself in his social media community by simply living more. We'll do his epic intro in just a second. But before we do, let's get into tonight's Ohio-based shows, a lot of them out of the Cleveland area, to help bring Talkin Cleveland Tuesday to maybe a different level that we didn't know before. First, Cleveland Whiskey, the official shots of the Dude Network right out of Cleveland. Yes, I like it. I drink it. That's why I picked with them and partnered them. No, I do not just drink it because, they want me to, because they show me attention. They make me feel pretty. No, Cleveland Whiskey is actually delicious. The Underground Network series is absolutely awesome. My favorite is the Sugar Maple, but also the Wheat Penny is their number one seller across the country in the 15 states they're in. But don't forget about the Christmas bourbon with this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame themed bottles. Not one, not two, but three Cleveland Whiskey Collector's bottles for this year's Cleveland Christmas bourbon. It tastes like Christmas. It's got like nutmeg and all the cloves and stuff like that. It is unbelievable. Right out of Lakewood, Ohio, Branch. It's barbecue ranch. It's beautiful. And so is Chris and the Branch team, as they are up to something very big. So stay up to date on what they got going on in their world, as some really big things happening. Don't forget about the Fieldhouse Mustard, the award-winning silver National Mustard Contest winner this year. The guy coming on here, Bronson, he's got some nice things he could say about Branch as well. And obviously right out of Willard, Ohio, Red Beard Seasonings. New seasoning coming out. Don't want to spill the beans today, but it is one of my favorite all-time blends, so I can't wait to see the spin he's got coming on it. But don't forget about the wild game seasoning. Venison is filling up in everyone's freezers. All those rednecks out here watching this show, killing their venison and deer, hitting with their deer cars and shit. Get the wild game rub to put on that. Steak and brisket is also delicious. Ohio pork, street corn, list goes on and on and on. Support these small businesses right here out of Ohio that help support us. We appreciate all of them. And of course, our main guest for tonight, Talkin Cleveland Tuesday, is nothing without a guest that knows a lot about Cleveland. Again, super cool guy, good friend of mine. He's the CEO of Bucket List. He simply likes to live more. He's been all around the world. He's even stolen poor people's cattle in third world countries. That's a good one. And he is known to take his drones and fly them into pretty blondes' hairs that are also models trying to make a buck, and he makes them work harder by picking drone blades out of their hair. He's passed out in more than one country. He's a living legend of a man. Again, the CEO of Bucket List. He's probably blushing. Bronson Allison, Live More TV.
Fantastic.
What up, dude?
How you doing?
Fucking good now. How are you?
Incredible.
All right.
Happy to be here.
Ooh, what is that? Is that a Millersburg beer?
It's a brew dog.
I'm surprised. What is that? Hold it up. Hold it to the camera. Mallow Laser Quest.
Some new limited edition one they sent me, and this is my first time trying it, and I like it.
Nice. I'm trying. My suitcase is like right here beside me, and I'm like knocking stuff over.
I love that.
Yeah, gotta love it. I'm actually ashamed. You know what? Oh, come on. I'm committed. I gotta get it. Just 1 second. Come on. So what's up, man?
Not much. I'm
just sitting there watching the host of the show fucking scurry around.
I love doing that. It's my favorite thing to do.
So I'm an idiot. Didn't bring any Cleveland whiskey, but I thought you'd appreciate this because I got this bottle as a gift from, you'll appreciate the name.
What's that? Hill Rock?
Kaufman Estates, baby.
Oh.
It was a gift from them, and it's called Amish Country Medicine.
Oh, of course.
Handwritten bottle. So,
Amish, here's everything.
It's not nearly as good as Cleveland whiskey, but it's what I got to work with tonight. So,
that's what I have to do.
So, speaking of alcohol, you just had an epic trip here recently. Obviously, we're going to get into talking Cleveland, but I guess I'm trying to qualify my guest as to why you're eligible to talk about such a prestigious community that is the Cleveland Boroughs. You just got back from your first trip to Oktoberfest, and not just the one at the local Riverfest in Cincinnati. We're talking the Oktoberfest over in Munchen, over headbutting some beer cheese soups and playing with some Fraulines with their lederhosen, So to break that one down here for us, man, what the hell was that like? I hear it's a commercial sellout holiday. Is the spirit of Oktoberfest still alive and well? What's going on over there?
Yeah, so my dad went with his army buddies back in the 80s. So I'm like, I've heard about it since I was a little kid. I'm like, one of these days I gotta go. So I wanted to go a couple years ago, and then COVID hit. So they had no Oktoberfest for 2 years. So this is the first grand reopening, and everybody's pumped up. So I think they said they had 1 million people the first day, and it was crazy, way crazier than I ever expected it to be. So it lives up to the hype.
Yeah. I mean, I saw you had those fancy waterproof socks in here. Real quick, I just want to tell this guy to fuck off. Fuck off on the Astros talk. All right, back to the show. Yeah, he's trying to get me triggered, and guess what? It's working. Too soon. Fuck the Yankees too. So, how many thousands of people were in the Hofbrauhaus tent? Is it 2,000, 10,000, 5,000? I mean, it's thousands, right? It's not hundreds.
He said it was 10,000. I ended up meeting the marketing dude that was the head of the tent, and he gave me a behind the scenes tour, and he told me it was 10,000 people or something that was in there at that exact moment. And he said they go through, I want to say 800,000 liters of beer during the entire fest.
How many liters are in a keg?
I don't know. He took me up.
Hey, you go ahead. I'm going to figure that out. You keep talking with that pretty voice of yours, and I'll figure that out.
They had tanks on top of the roof, and he let me go up and look at them. And I think he said it was 60,000 liters that they held in there, and they have to refill them every night.
So 50 liters is a keg.
Yeah. So
holy shit.
Yeah. Amount.
So you said 60,000 on top of the roof.
Yeah, 60,000.
Now I got to get a calculator out, because now I got to do 50 divided by 6,000. You don't want the Garraway, man. So
I went to West Holmes. I'm not any better.
Yeah, dude, you're probably more screwed than me. Shout out to the 1,200 kegs. So they got 1,200 kegs each day.
Yeah.
And and here, old Reggersville, Ohio, thinks they're cool for drinking 23 in a night for Reggersville, Badstone Festival, So.
Oh yeah, that's nothing.
I don't think there's nothing like that though. I mean, you've been okay. So this is where we talk about everywhere else you've been. How many countries have you been to? Because I'm sure you got a checklist.
Yeah, somebody asked me that the other day, and I was like, shoot, I've never written them all down, so I have no idea.
Really?
Yeah, I have one of those maps where you scratch it off every time you've been to a country, but it's in a frame. So anytime I'd have to do that, I have to take it out of the frame, and it's a lot of work. So I never do it. One of these days, I'm gonna have to go in there and scratch them off, though.
I have a problem with your style. Why would you frame something that's not yet complete?
Yeah, see, that was the flaw.
What's home? I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, you haven't really conquered it yet, so why are we framing it? It's not a possession until every country's got an X on it.
Yeah, I need to figure that out.
All right, just take your camera right now and rip that bastard off the wall and start over.
Mm-hmm.
Do it right this time.
Yeah.
So where else have you been here recently? I know that I have been. I know COVID. Let's talk about COVID and your travels, because before COVID, you had unlimited travel access to anywhere. You've been around a bunch of really cool countries. I would start naming off the list, but we try to keep this show as close to 30, 45 minutes as possible, right, and not 6 hours, to name all the places you've been to. But during COVID, what were your travel restrictions? And talk about places you did get to go during COVID, and maybe some different areas that you got to do that you wouldn't have normally got to do, but since there was limited options, you got to tackle out some of these other smaller ones on your list.
Yeah. So
Very loaded question, so take your time with that response.
yeah, I had all Thailand and all these cool places, and then COVID hit, didn't get to go. So then I didn't go anywhere during like the whole lockdown because you just couldn't. And eventually I started researching it, and like one of the only countries like that was, well, there was like a list of countries you could go to still. They're all countries you don't want to go to, like Iraq and stuff. And
why would, hey, I mean, dude, it's been calm there for 6 months. I think you should have tried it.
Yeah, I know. I probably should have. But I found Albania on the list, and I was like, isn't Albania like the movie from War Dogs and stuff? And I'm like, all the gun runners and stuff, don't they all live there? So I'm like, I don't know. But I'm like, well, screw it. Let's find out. Went there and ended up being amazing. And like, there was no restrictions. You didn't have to do anything. They just had a curfew at 8 p.m., which is probably smart because I didn't go out and party every night, and I got to see stuff.
Yeah. You probably got to be in like you got to actually enjoy this country there. I mean, you know, you're a younger guy. I mean, you ain't got any kids that you have to call and FaceTime at the end of the night. Have you ever gone on any of these trips and like at the end of it, you're like, Jesus, I partied way too much. I didn't get nearly enough content for how much I paid for this trip.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which one was what? Let me guess. Bali.
Actually, I filmed quite a bit in Bali somehow. I don't know.
Isn't that the place that you did? Isn't Bali where you stole the cow from those poor people?
Yeah, that sounds so bad.
It is bad. I just want you to know. That's why I worded it that way, to emphasize how bad it actually was.
We brought it back.
It's not good.
We just
did return it. You did return it. But you technically wore off like 6 pounds of meat in this extensive cross-terrain trip you get on it. And that's like 6 meals in cow world as a barbecue guy. So
yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's a little bit better, but I feel like when you then flew the drone into the model's hair, you kind of got instant karma on that.
Yeah. Well, somehow she got the karma. It didn't really affect me at all.
It was her hair. My drone was fine.
Yeah, I picked it right back up, flew it again. It was fine.
I love Lebanese cuisine. Okay. I mean, I couldn't tell you much about Lebanese cuisine, Masshole. Couldn't tell you much about it. I mean, it sounds delicious. I'm all up for something different. So, you know, I'm a big food guy. You know, I've been known to make a food video here and there, not too much.
Yeah.
Best food in all your travels, man.
Oh, yeah.
Best countries, like, or okay, I'll put it simpler to you. Was there somewhere you went where the food was exponentially better and different than what you thought it would be?
Yeah, the Albanian food was amazing. Like every day, like you go in and like order something and you can't read the menu. So I just point to something and they'd bring me out like a platter that's just massive and it's just full of meat. And that would be the meal. Like 5 different kinds of meat in there. And I was like, this is amazing.
Don't mind me. I'm just looking up trips to Albania.
Yeah.
After that one.
It was good. The food in Bali was really good too, though.
What kind of meat is in Albania that's different than like here in the States? Was it like sausage? Was it like pork, steak, chicken?
It was like a mix of everything. Like any dish you would order had like a blend of stuff on it and like different seasonings and like these sauces you would put on it. And it was, I don't know, it's really good. I can't even tell you like what anything's called because I couldn't pronounce it. I had no idea what I ordered. I just picked something and I'm like, sounds good.
Dude, that's like, I don't know how I feel about that because I have to kind of know what's in it because there's certain ingredients that just do not work for me. Like if there was like anything with like moldy cheese, like blue cheese or like or something like that, I'd be like, yeah, it would immediately be like a turn off.
Don't go to France.
Yeah, no, I have. That's one country I don't have much. I've heard northern France is badass. I heard northern France is really cool.
Yeah.
So okay, all right, interesting. So, all right, the show's Talkin Cleveland Tuesday. You've obviously been all over the world. The point of the show is that Cleveland kind of gets a shitty rap, or not really a fair one, I guess, of what. I don't know. I just don't feel like it gets a lot of love. Like it's an easy state. I claim like I'm on here pounding the pavement every week of how easy it actually is to travel in and around Cleveland with all the interstate systems that come through it, and then like all the bridges they put in like back in the 40s and 50s when it was a boom city, and now like it's It's really easy to get through. There's any kind of culture you can think of from where it was a destination during like Industrial Revolution days. Um, what is your take on Cleveland? And do you agree with me that it doesn't really get a fair rap as a guy because a guy that like you that's seen a lot of cities, like Cleveland's pretty cool, right? I mean, there's a lot of shit you can do in Cleveland you can't do in a lot of other big cities.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I just went and just like explored Little Italy, and I really like that.
Now, where is Little? I have not been to Little Italy. What town or what district of Cleveland is Little Italy in? Is it downtown Cleveland by West Side Market, or is it like?
No, I am so bad with navigating like Cleveland and Columbus. Like I
Yeah,
can't tell you what direction I'm facing, where anything's located. I type it in the GPS and I go. I have no idea. It was
like
kind
I
of
know,
on though.
like I know, like Parma. Like Parma's really good in like the Ukrainian and also like Little Poland.
Hmm.
Parma, Poland. Like I've always remembered those two. Like so, I know like, and then when you go, I don't know, man. You're right. It's really hard. It's like East Side, West Side. We're familiar, but we don't like live there, I guess.
Right.
But I feel like every big town inside of Cleveland, like Parma, Broadview Heights, Shaker Heights, Berea, Strongsville, on and on and on and on. Like every one of those towns has its own little little neighborhood of something. We had like an ex Browns player on here, and he described Cleveland, and he didn't mean it in a bad way, as like the most segregated big city he'd ever been in because everybody kind of stayed loyal to their kind and like in their own neighborhoods, and
Yeah.
like each neighborhood was like the same culture. Then like two neighborhoods there would be a different culture. Like they didn't hate each other, it's just where they chose to live. I found that like pretty fascinating. But what was Little Italy like? Describe Little Italy, Cleveland.
It like I don't know. It just looks super old school, and they're like really embrace it. Like there's like Italian flags everywhere, and like they're playing the music and like authentic people. Like I went into this one restaurant. I think it's called like La Dulce Vita or something like that.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah, I've heard of La Dolce Vita.
yeah, place is awesome. And like the owner, like as I'm eating, just comes up to me and he's got a plate full or a pan full of food. And he's like, "You guys want to try something? I just made it up." And I'm like, "Sure." And he throws it on my plate. And I'm like, "This is just like being in Italy. Like that's exactly how they treat you." So
So you've been to Italy?
yeah, and yeah, I mean the same hospitality. So it was pretty cool to like get the authentic experience in Cleveland.
So yeah, absolutely. So like in Little Italy, like is it like several blocks or is there like a bunch of restaurants? Like is there little markets you can go to and get like some fresh like charcuterie
Yeah,
or
they had everything. Like they had bars and restaurants and stores and like I don't know about anything you could think of. Like
mob meetings or the mafia was the Dons were meeting up making deals,
yeah, they gave me
peddling.
an offer and I refused.
I went to a place in Philadelphia and the waiter had to learn like he had to really struggle to speak to us. And it was probably the most authentic Italian joint I'd ever been in because they're like, "Oh, it's BYOB here. We don't have a liquor license." And we're like, "Oh, uh,
Yeah.
okay." We're like, "We're fine, just water." And he's like, "No, no, no, no. You can't have a meal without wine." You know, he brings us like, he's like, "Hey, someone left this from a party, and he just gave us like this like bottle of house wine, like that." Like you said, Italians, man, like they are like they might have a little bit of a rough past, but they're probably the most hospitable kind. So is Italy like that over there too? Like in all the businesses you go to, or they treat even Americans, they treat you pretty nice and friendly, and like they appreciate your business coming by.
Yeah, I didn't have any issues with anybody. Like I went into the one of the first ones I went to in Rome, and the guy just starts talking to me, and I'm joking around with him, and he thought it was funny, and then he comes out with a bottle of like limoncello, and he's like, "Here, I'm gonna pour you some shots for you." And just kept bringing them back to the table and never charged me. So they were all like at a couple different places did the same thing. I'm like, this is so cool. You don't get that in America really. So
Yeah, you want to impress an American, give them some free booze,
yeah,
and like
exactly.
you have all of our attention. Um, So, like back to Cleveland here, like what are some other things that okay, so you get to travel, they call you the CEO of bucket list. So a lot of companies have had you come up and capture their version of their bucket list item and have you bring it to life in the form of a video. What are some of your really cool destinations in Cleveland that a lot of people don't know about outside of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Like the three major sports teams and, like the Pro Football Hall of Fame, because I'll bundle that into the Cleveland scene, even though it's not.
Yeah.
Um, but what are some things that people aren't aware that are in Cleveland that are really cool that you would have never got to see until you started doing this social media live more experience?
That's tough. There's so many.
I know, man. I can't take it easy into the whole damn show. Come on.
Yeah. Man, I did just go down to the beach. I'm trying to think what it's called. It's just down from the Rock Hall a little bit. I don't know why I'm blanking on the name.
Edgewater.
Yeah, that beach.
Edgewater.
I went down there. I had to do a photo shoot, and it was like sunset, and it feels like you're like in California or something. Like
The
music, it was cool.
people forget like how awesome the Cleveland beaches are because you have like cliffs, like you have like rock cliffs in some areas where you're literally driving like 50 feet above the lakeside, like looking down over a cliff where the lake shore's at, up by when you get to like Conneaut, when you go up that road from Cleveland up to Conneaut on I-90 there, up to like Erie and stuff, and then you go to Edgewater where you have like sand beaches, you have stone beaches, like you can start at Lake Erie on a windy day and catch like 3 to 5 footers on a really rough, choppy day. So you can still get like, and you look out and it's just like the ocean, man. You can't see anything.
Yeah,
and people really just forget like that it's there. Like people spend all this money going down to like Myrtle Beach and are over it in like 3 days and it's completely packed. And they can just drive up to Cleveland, get any kind of food they want, and go to basically a private beach, and don't have to worry about salt water getting in your eyes. Just some walleye poo.
Oh yeah.
Without lead, shout out cheaters. And then you wear that, right? The walleye cheaters.
Yeah, I saw that. That was bad.
Well, I'm doing a walleye video here soon, and I'm gonna like pull the fillet, and a weight's gonna fall up, hit the table, be like, "Where'd that come from?" Well, this one came from Erie.
They got away with it for so long too. It's crazy.
Yeah, 300,000 in 2 years, man.
That's nuts.
In prizes and winnings, like it's crazy. It's funny how stupid they were about it. They got popped for like half. They failed a lie detector test, so their resolution to that situation was turning in the same size fish that weighed 8 pounds more. But anyway, that's beside the Oh my god, I forget what I was even going to say there. You just got You get a little bit of walleye poop instead of the salt water. So the beaches up there are really nice. What about like, have you got to check out any cool like businesses up there that have been like, wow, like that was interesting. Like that was a really cool place, a really cool bar to hang out, or like a historic place.
Yeah. Every time I go up to Cleveland, I'm usually filming nightlife. So all the bars and stuff that they have up there are like next level. Like they're super unique. Like there's one called Dive Bar where you're just like hanging out in this regular bar, and then at a certain time of the night, the wall opens up and it goes way farther back, and everybody's into there, and it's like a whole new party again. And
so whenever the fire code they reach the max, they're like, all right, like let's
everybody knows it's coming, and they stand by the door waiting to go. I was like, I had no idea. I'm standing there, I'm like, why is everybody like facing this wall? It's weird.
like Children of the Corn type shit. Like, man, what is this absinthe in this drink?
Yeah, I was confused, so I just joined in. I just stood there and like looked at it. I'm like,
hey man, we got a problem with that. That means you're a follower, man. We need you to be more of a leader. We can't have the CEO of Bucket List just staring at walls because everybody else is, man.
Well, if I was leading it, I would have left because I'm like, look at these weirdos. I'm getting out of here.
I'm just gonna have to send a WEO on this one. I'm gonna have to send a WEO. Oh man, that's some funny shit. The bar scene is probably really cool. I just like that you can pick out any kind of food possible. Because I'm a food guy. Like my experiences are a good meal, and there's some really cool history. And then you got like the Science Center up there, the Great Lakes Science Center, which is like right by the hall, and it's actually bigger than the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And you could take your whole family up there for like a whole day and not even like see all of it.
Oh yeah, I used to love going there when I was a little kid. I'd still go there and have a great time, I'm sure.
Well, there's a content idea for you. You're welcome. If you got something out of this show, that's it.
Have you been to Shooters?
What's that?
You've been to Shooters? It's just across from the flats.
There was a Shooters in Morgantown, so that's what threw me off for a second. Never been to Shooters, and a Shooters probably isn't even a thing anymore. When I was in college, there was a WVU bar, college bar called Shooters.
Oh, this place is cool. Like it feels like you're like in Florida or something. It's right on the water, and they have this like lobster roll sandwich thing, and it is
man,
incredible. And like they have this rooftop bar and like a wraparound patio and like a tiki bar. And they get live bands in there all the time. And I thought it was awesome. So in the summertime, it's all open air, and then they can close it up in the wintertime. But it really does feel like you're like North Carolina or Florida or something, like some beach town.
Yeah, I mean it's man, yeah. When you get up there in the summertime on the lake, and you go up, there's like canals that come in off the lake, and there's like these massive dock structures. And because up there you don't worry about hurricanes, it's not really a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like everything's really permanent, really nice. And there's some of them restaurants up there where it's literally same vibes as Florida minus like the hot summer humidity. Like it's hot, but at least up on the lake you got a little bit of a breeze. So in the summertime, it's pretty badass.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go out for food, man, what's Bronson's like? You're taking the pretty lady out on a hot date, and she's like, anywhere you want, babe, anywhere you want, boo, anywhere.
Hmm.
What kind of food we going after? I'm not telling you to pick a top restaurant. I'm just trying to get you to pick a genre.
I always love me a good steak. So one of these days I want to try Marble Room in Cleveland. Everyone says that's like one of the top steakhouses in Cleveland. So that's on the bucket list to try for Cleveland for me.
For Cleveland, yeah. I mean, we need to get you over to the Dude Network Lab to get one of their steaks.
Yeah.
I heard they're pretty all right.
Yeah.
Except for competition judges, they all think they sucked. But I think all right. Is there anywhere in Cleveland that you haven't got to check out yet that you might be looking to do again here soon? Or looking to get on the list here soon?
I think I've seen almost, I don't know. There's a couple like little places. There's nothing like crazy big that I've seen or haven't seen yet. But there's also a lot of hidden gems that a lot of people don't know about, including me. So every once in a while, somebody throw out an idea and I look it up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go here. So
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some more there. It's a big place. So
Well, you've done the Christmas Story House, like that's in Cleveland.
yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, you've got to do that. I mean, you got Great Lakes Brewery, you got some of the best beer. You got great companies like Cleveland Whiskey, who's opening a restaurant soon on the Flats. So they're going to be bringing like their distillery vibe down to the Flats. So that's going to be another addition to the Flats.
I'll be in the Flats.
They're talking about building that land bridge from the stadiums to the Flats, so it kind of connects the two. Yeah, I guess it's been like in talks like for years and it hasn't happened. So there's people starting to wonder if it's ever going to happen.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, so other than Cleveland sports heartbreak, man, I mean Cleveland's awesome. It really is. What are some of the coolest? Give me your top 3 places you've got to go to outside the United States.
Everybody always gets tired of me saying it. I love Bali.
I never get tired of you saying it because you sell it so much that you make me actually want to go there one day.
Yeah, it was cool. I really liked Albania way more than I ever expected. I've been to Germany a couple times. It's always pretty cool, but I think I really enjoyed Malaysia. I thought it was cool too.
Now, I don't remember talking to you much about Malaysia. What's Malaysia like?
It's just like real similar to Indonesia, kind of. I got to like stay in like the
stabbings and beatings. Yeah.
Pretty much the same things. I came from Bali and went to Malaysia, so it wasn't a big adjustment or anything. But I went off, took a boat ride to this tiny little island called like Tioman, and it's like just like a jungle island. Like I don't know, it was sick. Like the water was blue as can be, and there's huge mountains, and I like got to hike up into the mountains and stuff, and there's waterfalls up there, so it was super cool. I thought.
Would Malaysia or Bali we'll just bundle them together. Most beautiful terrain you've ever got to see?
Yeah, probably. Well, I don't know. That's tough. I mean, Albania was cool because you'd have like every town was different, and the whole like country is like maybe 200 miles long or something. So I drove the whole country. You could do it in a day if you wanted.
Yeah,
And
I think for living more, I think that's what I would do.
yeah, like they've got mountains and beaches, and it looks like you're in Greece, or you could look like you're just in some old school medieval town. Like they got everything there. So I thought that place was probably one of the most scenic.
All right, CEO bucket list, which means you have a bucket list.
Yep.
What is some of your top? I won't keep putting you on the spot to make you ask for top 3, top 5. So just rattle off some of your bucket list. Is there one thing that you want to do more than anything else, or is Oktoberfest like a massive one?
There's nothing that's just like the top of the list. They're all just like things that I wanted to do. Like I wanted to see Dracula's castle, so we crossed that off a couple weeks ago, and then Oktoberfest was another like little experience.
Rest in peace, Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah, it's my guy.
Savage.
I want to see the pyramids in Egypt. I want to fly on a private jet.
You haven't got to do the private jet? I'm surprised.
I've been trying so hard. It is a struggle, and it's stupid expensive if you want to pay for it. Just to like charter one out one day, and I'm like, whoa.
What? Okay. You obviously have done the pricing on this. I'm very curious. What does it cost for a private jet? For like, let's say, I just want to go down to Florida.
Yeah, that was what I asked. I talked to a guy and I said I want to go to Florida, and he was like, I think he said it'd be like 12 grand to go down to Florida, just like one way. And I was like, whoa.
One way?
Yeah, because the fuel is expensive, and then you have to pay for the pilot and the storage and all this stuff. So the fees are stupid. But he was like, well, I said, what if I want to just go like one state over? He was like, oh, I could probably do it for like $1,500 or $2,500. I was like, whoa. And that's like a 30-minute flight, so not worth.
Jesus, man. Could you imagine? All right. So
maybe
pyramid.
12 people, we'll split it. It won't be so bad.
I think that could be too bad we weren't making, too bad we're not Dave Portnoy status, man. We just use it as a tax write-off.
Yeah, no joke.
Could you imagine the content we could do if we could just be like, let's go to Cali today?
Yeah.
Could you imagine just waking up and going to California and come back that night?
Be incredible.
And just knowing you have like a full recliner, lazy boy couch bed to just sleep on and like open bar, like the ultimate DD, man. The ultimate DD is a private jet pilot. I mean, that's awesome.
And you know what? Get on a jet, it needs to be the Playboy jet.
I mean, if you're going to do it, do that one.
Exactly.
I would just have to bring the wife.
Yeah, she's invited.
Fair is fair. She probably wouldn't. She probably would go. Alyssa's pretty cool. Alyssa's cool like that. She would totally be down. She'd be like, that sounds like an experience. Let's try it out. Let's see what happens. She'd probably be like, I have so many questions. She'd probably be sitting there saying, so what's it like? All right. So Egyptian mountains and private jets. What else is on the list, man? Great. Oh, China.
I want to get a Live More beer, and we got that in the works right now.
Millersburg?
Yep, Millersburg Brewing Company. We're working on a Live More beer.
Dude, I'm out there the day it releases. Let's collab on it.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have a little party once we release it. We got to come up with a name first. That's what's holding us back, is getting a good name.
The Live More party.
Oh, yeah, we could do that.
Come live more. No.
I came up with like a dreamsicle because of like the flavor, but then I'm like, I don't know. Does that sound like?
Oh, you got to come up with the flavor of the beer.
I got the flavor. We got it locked down. We did the taste testing and everything. We got it locked in. Now he's like, come up with a name based off of the flavor, and then you got to come up with a can design, and then we'll be good to go.
So it's a dreamsicle is like the flavor profile.
Yeah, it's like an orange with pineapple and cream. So it tastes like an orange creamsicle, but with a hint of it.
We got some people in the comments here. Everybody throw in some suggestions for Bronson's Live More brew.
Yeah, there we go.
Live more, drink more.
Yeah.
That's a good one from Redbeard Season.
Live more, party harder.
Live more, party harder, drink more. Yeah. Okay, hear me out. The cattle stealer. the drone flyer. Like something that's not. You're not lighting up, but I think it's onto something there.
I'm trying to think if I got
Something you use in your like something that would tie you. Like you're known for your drones. You're known for your living more bucket list brew.
Oh yeah, Live More bucket list.
Live more bucket list beer.
Writing it down right now.
Oh, you got to. You can't take it now. Oh, here's one. The Cattle Bandit.
There we go. That's what I should do for Halloween.
The Cattle Bandit. Oh
Yeah.
man. Hey, my son Wally's dressed up as a police officer. He'll bust your ass. His police officer came with like a plastic billy club with it, and I was like, interesting accessory for a size 4 or 5, but you know,
yeah, it is.
I'm here for it.
Oh
I found out, by the way, the wife thinks that I was making a big deal of it. So we were at the Art in the Alley on Sunday in New Philadelphia, Ohio. And like the kids, if they dressed up as trick or treat, the vendors that participated, would give them candy as like a little daylight trick or treating thing. So like Wally's walking around as a cop, and like these craft show, you're not seeing a lot of back to blue people at these types of things.
Yeah.
We're like, oh no, a police officer, don't beat me. I'm like, maybe the police officers played out for a 4-year-old, maybe, I was like, man, my 4-year-old's getting looks, they're like, ooh, a cop. Like my daughter, like, oh, a princess. Like, ooh, a cop. Like, oh, it's a cop. And I was like, man, all right. So FYI for everybody thinking of the Halloween costumes for their kids, factor that into it. All right, so we're on to some brainstorming here's of the beer. What was the one? I already forgot. I'm glad you wrote that down because I already forgot what it was. The bucket list, Live More bucket list.
So the idea was we want to see how this one does, and if it does good, we make another one based off of a different country's like flavor. So we could be like a Live More Albanian ale. So we have to have Live More as the first part, and then something underneath it, so you can make more off of it. So we'll see what happens with that.
I'm a connoisseur of the beer, so let's talk about what countries had the best beer, man. Germany.
Oh yeah,
I know your dad has told me that it's the best because I do know your dad. I know I told y'all we go way back. And then like the wife's dad, he was in Germany and he swears up and down on the beer too. So
I had probably one of my favorite beers was in Bali. They only have one beer there. And I drank a million of them, so I got very experienced with it. But there was one in Berchtesgaden in Germany. It's like where Hitler's lair is. And I just went there, and that one was super similar to it. And I was like, oh, my gosh, this is so good. So it's some kind of Pilsner, and I thought it was just phenomenal.
All right. I mean, I've never left the country other than Jamaica, and Red Stripe's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the German browse, Woolly Pig. I'm a sucker for the Woolly Pig. Like that's pretty authentic German, as close as you can get to that down there.
Yeah,
and that's the cool thing about up there in Cleveland is you have all these different ethnicity groups that are in there from like Eastern European, and so on and so forth. There's like any kind of themed brewery up there you could possibly think of too.
Oh yeah, that Hansa Brewery.
See, I don't know that one. What's that one? What's Hansa?
It's like an authentic German, German people own it. And like the guy that owned it was the bartender. And his name was Boris. And this dude was awesome. He's telling me all about Germany.
The German name Boris. That's
yeah. And the brewery is connected to like a German store that they own. So it's like a grocery store. So you can go in there and everything in it is German. You can buy like little mini kegs of like Hofbrauhaus beers or all these like actual imports and stuff and meats and cheeses and stuff. So it feels like you're in Germany, just going to like a market.
And there is a Hofbrauhaus in Cleveland too. Everyone forgets that there is one in Cleveland. There's one in Columbus, there's one in Cincinnati, but recently in the last 5-6 years, they did put one in Cleveland right by the Wolfstein Center.
That's probably one of the nicest ones I've been to too. It looks like you're in one of the tents.
It's clean. It's really clean. And it's in a really nice part of downtown. And we have another suggestion on the can. This one might be the best one.
Cream.
The Live More Dream Cream.
I saw it.
Oh, good Lord. Um, all right, man. So that's awesome. So what's your next big trip you got scheduled up here? Either is it in the States? Is it back out of the States? Now that you've done one out of state, so is it going to be a little while till you get to do another one, or do you got another one on the books?
Well, after that last one, because I ended up like hitting my head and stuff, like I was like ready to come home. And I was like, I think I'm good traveling for a little bit. And like a week went by and I'm like, all right, I'm ready to get back at it. So me and my buddy are talking about going to like Egypt in December, but I don't know if it'll happen or not. We'll just like a bunch of things are playing into factor with it. So
Were you concussed?
Yeah, it was bad after Oktoberfest.
What happened?
I left Oktoberfest. We were trashed, of course. We were there all day long. Like you were only supposed to stay half the day. They cut it up into segments. So like the first group of people stay like half the day and then they leave and a new wave comes in. Well, I stayed the entire day. And I don't know. I got back to the hostel. I couldn't get a hotel, so I had to stay in a hostel. And I'm down in the lobby hanging out with people from all these different countries and just talk to them, having a great time. And I'm like, I'm going to go to the bathroom, be right back. And I'm running to run up these stairs. And I slip, my foot like caught on one of the steps and I hit my face off the edge of like marble stairs. And I didn't even feel anything. Didn't even think I hit my head or anything. I got right back up. My vision was blurred. Some guy came running at me and he picked me up. He was staying there and he was like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm fine. Are you good?" He's like, "No, man, you're bleeding. You need to go to the hospital." I'm like, "No, I'm not." And I did this and my whole face was covered in blood. And they took me to the lobby. That's when I started blacking out, I guess. And they bandaged me all up. And I guess my eyes had rolled to the back of my head. I had blood coming out of my nostrils. And they said I kept repeating myself. And then I would just like pass out, get right back up and pass out again. And yeah, it was bad. That was the worst I've been in like bad shape in a long time. Like
this is why I felt bad we hadn't talked since you got back, and because I had no idea this happened. So this is real reaction. Like Tony's finding out his friend almost died in Germany. So
yeah, it was a good thing that guy showed up, but then he did steal $60 out of my pocket. So I don't know if he's that great of a Samaritan, but
yeah. I mean, at least didn't take the whole wallet.
Yeah, he left my credit card. He's a nice guy.
So there was all the cash you had was 60?
Yeah, that was all I had with me. I had to go to ATM the next day and get more because he left my card, so I could, but that was nice.
Hey, they even steal nicer off of you in Germany during October.
I got to show you the video, though. I don't remember taking this. I must have woke up in the middle of the night, and you see like the camera facing the bunk bed above me, and then I flip it back to myself, and I got a bandage on my head, and then like the pillow next to me is just all bloody. And I'm like doing that. No memory of it. And I woke up the next morning. I had to go to the bathroom. And I was in there doing just fine. And all of a sudden my vision went black. And I'm like trying to get to my bed and I blacked out again. Woke up at like 5 p.m. the next day. Went back to Oktoberfest. But I was bad. My speech was slurred. I couldn't talk like all day long. I felt awful. It was a real bad concussion.
I'm surprised that they let you even fly home. Isn't that dangerous?
Oh, well, I never went to a hospital. So I kept telling them like, no, I'm not going. I'm fine. But I do have like a pretty big like scar going across it. Healed up fast, but I had a big black eye. But yeah, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, right there.
Oh, shit.
They said I needed stitches. I probably did. I mean, it's like hard underneath. So I don't know if there's some scar tissue going on under here or what. But we survived. Now we got a cool story.
That's a hell of a battle wound, man. Here, I thought stealing the cow from the poor people was like top of the bucket list, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Doobie. His voice is legendary. Look at that. Look at that. People know. People know. How many followers are you at total on everything?
Oh, on everything.
525, 525,000, 535. Well, no. Because Clapper, you got almost 100K.
Yeah, it's probably 600,000, something like that.
630. Yeah.
Not enough.
Oh man. Dude, man, I appreciate you coming on here. We got to get you on the weekend kickoff party with the boys. We can really cut loose.
I want to come over and get some brisket too.
I mean, that's your fault. That's a you problem. I invite you every time.
I know I'm always doing something. Well, we got to come over like in the fall. It's the perfect time to do it.
Well, now that the Browns are like really shitty, so we can at least eat good, as we watch them lose. So there we go.
Exactly.
And when you come over, we'll definitely drink some Cleveland whiskey.
Oh yeah, I haven't tried it yet, and I really want to.
I'll put some branch, to dip it in.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And then I'll season it in the Redbeard seasoning, because I would never give cheap plugs in the show. That's just not my style. But if I did, that would probably be what I'd do. Yeah, man. Yeah, we got the collab. We did the Hall of Fame collab, and that was a cool one. Even like Suryat was even like, man, that was really cool. That was a really cool collab.
Yeah.
I was like, I think you're being really nice and friendly, but thank you.
Yeah, we had a good time hanging out today.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Spoiler alert. Upcoming content alert. Suryat and Livermore.
He posted his today already. He like went right home and edited it. So if you haven't seen it, you got to watch it. It's
hilarious. Okay. Yeah. Definitely. As soon as I get off here, that is absolute certain. All right, plug. Where can people find you at? How can we keep track of you? How can we support Livermore TV?
All right. Well, we got TikTok, Livermore TV, Clapper, Livermore TV, Facebook's Livermore TV, and then Instagram is Bronson James Allison. And then you could always go to livermoreshop.com and get some cool merch. We got a lot of cool beer shirts on there, like some Hofbrau House ones. Even we got some beer steins too. So that's neat.
And also, if you just type in like Livermore TV on YouTube, it is top of the list.
That's the old channel. I'm starting to post to just my personal one now. I'm trying to grow that one up. So all the Livermore stuff now is going on to my personal YouTube, just Bronson James.
So don't Google Livermore TV.
Yeah, I need to fix it. I need to change it. But you're going out like where you can customize your handle now. So I'm going to get on that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, add it to the bucket list.
Yes, of course.
The ever-growing bucket list that never stops, it never grows. But one thing that never stops is Talkin Cleveland Tuesday. And but we do have to stop this show because we are running over per usual because that's just how I roll. Dudes and dudettes, thank you so much for hopping on here again on Talkin Cleveland Tuesday. Maybe next Tuesday, Suryat himself. We're working on that. Next Wednesday's his birthday, so keep that in mind too if you're keeping that stuff. If you want to, give Waldo something really nice and friendly, like. But yeah, so hopefully we get him on next Tuesday. Man, I've been getting so many big fun guests on here, man. Like it's going to be hard to live up to it like every week. I'm struggling, man. Like after him, I'm like, oh shit, what do I do?
The week after.
Yeah, you'll both come on. Yeah, we'll get both of you guys on. But Bronson, thank you again so much for coming on here and hanging out here with you, man. You're the absolute best. The Dude Network is not the Dude Network without your help to help motivate me to go for it, make me feel comfortable. And when I was called you up one day, and I was like, I think I'm going to do it. And you're like, do it. And
you're killing it.
And you're not as much as you, man. Hey, I'm just trying to live up to your status, bro. Your edits are killer, man. You're always evolving. You're entertaining people, and you make Amish country cool. So that takes a skill. So, hey, dudes and dudettes, we will see you next Tuesday on Talkin Cleveland. But don't forget about this Friday weekend kickoff party with Tavin Dillard. I don't know if you know who that is, but that's a big one. Tavin Dillard and also the Rage and Pillage podcast, guys. We were on there last week, and it just got wild. So the after party is going to be absolutely out of control this Friday. Make sure you lock in here on Friday at 9 p.m. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. If you really like me, throw a comment in there too. Let's get that engagement rate up a little bit. And if you missed this show or caught the tail end of it, it's automatically up on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at the conclusion of it. Go back and catch up with us. If you know a friend, tell that friend. If you hate your friend and you want to ruin their life and give them an hour and a half of nothing, send them to the Dude Network. We'll be happy to oblige. So, dudes and dudettes, Bronson, thank you. We will catch you guys next time.